Man United show concrete interest in McTominay as they prepare emotional bid to re-sign Scott. Welcome to Unite United News, where we call out bad ideas. Hello and welcome to Unite United News, where we tell Manchester United fans the truth even when that truth is uncomfortable. We do not chase every rumor. We do not treat every link as credible. And we definitely do not pretend that terrible ideas are good ones just because they involve a player fans have affection for. Today we need to talk about one of the worst transfer rumors we have heard in a long time. Manchester United potentially trying to re-sign Scott McTominay from Napoli. This would be embarrassing. This would be desperate. This would be a complete admission of failure. Thank you for trusting us to break down why this rumor, if true, represents everything wrong with how United have operated in recent years. Now let us explain exactly why bringing back McTominay would be a disaster. The rumor that makes no sense. According to journalist Mark Bruss, Manchester United are showing concrete interest in re-signing Scott McTominay from Napoli. The report suggests United are preparing an emotional bid to bring him back to Old Trafford. There is also interest from Newcastle, Tottenham, and Barcelona. Let us pause right there and think about what this means. Manchester United sold McTominay to Napoli for around £25 million in August 2024. Erik ten Hag, the manager at the time, decided the Scottish midfielder was not good enough for United's squad. He wanted to reshape the team. He wanted different players. So McTominay was sold. Now, just over a year later, United are apparently interested in bringing him back. The same player they decided was not good enough. The same player they were happy to let go. The same player they sold for what now looks like a bargain price given how well he has performed in Italy. This is exactly the kind of short-term thinking and poor planning that has plagued Manchester United for years. You sell a player because you think you can do better. Then, when you realize you cannot actually do better, you try to buy him back at probably double the price you sold him for. This is embarrassing. This is the behavior of a club that has no idea what it is doing. What McTominay did at Napoli. To understand why this rumor is so frustrating, we need to look at what Scott McTominay achieved after leaving Manchester United. Because it makes the decision to sell him look even worse. In his first season at Napoli, McTominay was absolutely brilliant. He contributed 12 goals and 4 assists in 34 Serie A appearances. For a midfielder, those are outstanding numbers. He was not just a squad player. He was not just making up numbers. He was a key contributor to Napoli winning the Scudetto, the Italian league title. Think about that for a moment. Manchester United sold a player who then went to another club and helped them win a league title in his first season. Meanwhile, United finished 8th in the Premier League. McTominay won Serie A. United did not even qualify for the Champions League. Who made the better decision? This season, McTominay has slowed down a bit. 2 goals and 1 assist in 10 league appearances. His form has dipped along with Napoli's recent results. They have dropped to 4th in Serie A. But even in a less impressive season, McTominay is still performing at a level that many United midfielders have not matched. Antonio Conte, one of the best managers in world football, changed his system specifically to get the best out of McTominay. Conte saw something in the Scottish midfielder that ten Hag apparently did not see. Conte used him as a raider rather than a builder. He gave him freedom to attack the box while others handled the deeper midfield duties. And it worked brilliantly. A Naples journalist compared McTominay to players like Claudio Marchisio and Arturo Vidal, who scored 9 and 10 goals respectively under Conte at Juventus. These are legendary midfielders who had incredible careers. The comparison might seem generous, but it shows how highly McTominay is rated in Italy. McTominay himself has spoken glowingly about his experience at Napoli. He loves the place. He loves the fans. He loves his teammates. He has no regrets about leaving United. He saw an opportunity and took it. He is happy there. So why on earth would Manchester United think he wants to come back? And more importantly, why would United want to admit they made a mistake by trying to re-sign him? Why this would be embarrassing? Let us be brutally honest about what it would mean if Manchester United tried to bring Scott McTominay back to Old Trafford. First, it would be an admission that selling him was a mistake. You do not try to re-sign a player you sold just over a year ago unless you realize you messed up. This is United publicly admitting they got it wrong, that they should not have let him go, that they are worse off without him. Second, it would show that United have not improved their midfield despite spending huge money on other players. They sold McTominay to make room for what they thought would be better options. But if they now want him back, it means those better options either were not signed or have not worked out. Either way, it is a damning indictment of United's recruitment. Third, it would be financially absurd. United sold McTominay for £25 million. If they try to buy him back now, after he has won Serie A and proven himself at a high level, Napoli will demand much more. Probably £40 to £50 million at minimum. So United would pay double what they received just to get back a player they already had. This is terrible business. Fourth, it would send a terrible message to current players. If you can leave United, succeed elsewhere, and then be welcomed back with open arms, what incentive is there to stay and fight for your place? Why not leave, do well somewhere else, and then come back when United get desperate? This undermines team culture and commitment. Fifth, it would be another example of United lacking a clear plan. Proper clubs have a vision for what they want their squad to look like. They identify the profile of players they need. They pursue those targets consistently. They do not constantly change their minds about who is good enough. United's potential interest in McTominay shows they still do not know what they are doing. Sixth, and perhaps most importantly, it would look desperate. Really desperate. Like a club that is so lost and confused that they are trying to turn back time and undo decisions they made just a year ago. This is not how elite football clubs operate. This is how poorly run clubs operate. The Antonio Conte factor. One of the most telling aspects of the McTominay situation is how Antonio Conte has used him at Napoli. Conte is one of the most successful managers in football history. He has won league titles in Italy and England. He understands how to get the best out of players. And he built his Napoli system partially around McTominay. Conte did not try to turn McTominay into something he is not. He did not ask him to be a deep-lying playmaker or a defensive midfielder who sits in front of the back four. Instead, Conte used McTominay as what he called a raider, someone who attacks space, someone who arrives late in the box, someone who scores goals. This is what good managers do. They assess the strengths and weaknesses of their players and create systems that maximize the strengths while minimizing the weaknesses. Ten Hag tried to make McTominay something he was not at United. Conte embraced what McTominay actually is and used him brilliantly. The comparison to Marchisio and Vidal is instructive. These were not traditional defensive midfielders. They were all-action box-to-box players who contributed goals and assists while also doing defensive work. This is McTominay's natural position. This is where he thrives. Could Ruben Amorim use McTominay in a similar way at Manchester United? Maybe. Amorim is a good tactical coach who might be able to get the best out of him. But here is the problem. If United bring McTominay back, they are admitting that Ten Hag misused him and that they were wrong to let him go. They are admitting they do not have players who can do what McTominay does. They are admitting failure on multiple levels. And there is another issue. Conte specifically wants McTominay at Napoli. He rates him highly. He has no interest in selling him. So even if United wanted to bring him back, Napoli would make it extremely difficult and expensive. What McTominay actually said. Let us not forget what Scott McTominay himself has said about his move to Napoli and his feelings about leaving Manchester United. Speaking to BBC Scotland in December, McTominay explained why he chose Napoli. I saw the passionate fans, I saw the coach, I saw the players, and I saw an opportunity. I took it, I did not look back. It did not take me long to make the decision because I knew that was what I wanted, and I will never have any regrets in my life. Read that again. He did not look back. He has no regrets. He knew what he wanted and he went for it. This does not sound like someone who is desperate to return to Manchester United at the first opportunity. McTominay continued. As soon as I put my mind to something I want to do it, that is it. There is no holding me back. I love this place, I love the fans, I love my teammates. He loves Napoli. He loves the city. He loves the supporters. He loves his teammates. He is happy there. He has found a place where he is appreciated and used properly. Why would he want to give that up to return to a club that decided he was not good enough? According to the reports, McTominay is very happy with life in Italy. Napoli do not want to sell him. He is settled. He is performing well. He won a league title in his first season. Everything is going well for him. So this idea that United can just come back with an emotional bid and convince him to return is probably fantasy. Yes, McTominay came through United's academy. Yes, he spent many years at the club. Yes, there is probably still affection there. But affection does not pay the bills. Success, happiness, and being valued does. The real solution for United, instead of embarrassing themselves by trying to re-sign a player they sold just over a year ago, Manchester United should be focusing on the actual solution to their midfield problems. They need to sign a proper defensive midfielder. Someone young. Someone with potential. Someone who fits Amorim's system. Someone who is not a desperate attempt to undo past mistakes but a forward-thinking acquisition that builds for the future. Players like Alex Scott from Bournemouth. Players like Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace. These are the types of targets United should be pursuing. Young midfielders who are performing well in the Premier League and have the potential to develop into top-class players. Not Scott McTominay. Not a player they already decided was not good enough. Not a player who will cost double what they sold him for. Not a player whose acquisition would be an admission of failure and poor planning. Manchester United need to learn from their mistakes, not try to reverse them. They need to improve their scouting and recruitment. They need to identify players earlier and sign them at reasonable prices. They need to have a clear plan for what their midfield should look like and pursue that plan consistently. Bringing back McTominay solves nothing. It just papers over the cracks of terrible decision-making. It creates a short-term fix that does not address the long-term problems. It is exactly the kind of thinking that has kept United in mediocrity for years. Why this rumor might not be true. Before we get too worked up about this, we should acknowledge that this rumor might not even be accurate. Transfer reporting is full of speculation, agent briefings, and stories designed to create interest where none really exists. The source of this story is journalist Mark Bruss citing an unnamed source. That is not exactly rock solid. Compare this to the Alex Scott story where reputable transfer expert Graham Bailey provided detailed information about United's genuine interest. That report felt credible. This McTominay story feels less so. It is possible that McTominay's agents are using United's name to generate interest from other clubs. If Barcelona, Newcastle, and Tottenham all think United want him, they might be more inclined to make offers. This is a common tactic in the transfer market. It is also possible that some people at United have casually discussed the idea of bringing him back, but there is no serious plan to actually do it. Sometimes these discussions happen and then get reported as concrete interest when really it was just idle conversation. And let us be honest, this is the kind of story that generates clicks and engagement. United fans will have strong opinions about whether bringing back McTominay would be good or terrible. So media outlets have an incentive to report these stories even if the evidence is thin. So while we have criticized the idea heavily in this article, there is a decent chance it will never actually happen. United might be smarter than this. We can hope so anyway. What United fans should think. So what should Manchester United supporters make of this rumor? How should they react to the possibility of Scott McTominay returning to Old Trafford? The answer is simple. They should hope it does not happen. They should pray that United are not actually this desperate and poorly organized. They should demand better from their club than trying to buy back players they sold just a year ago. Yes, McTominay is a good player. Yes, he has done well at Napoli. Yes, he could probably contribute to United's squad. But none of that matters. What matters is that bringing him back would be an admission of failure. It would show United have learned nothing. It would demonstrate that the club is still making reactive, short-term decisions instead of having a proper long-term plan. United fans should want their club to be better than this. They should want proper recruitment that identifies young talents before they become expensive. They should want a clear vision for what the squad should look like. They should want consistency in decision-making rather than constantly reversing course. If United are really interested in bringing back every player they sold who went on to succeed elsewhere, where does it stop? Should they try to re-sign everyone who has done well after leaving? That is not a strategy. That is chaos. The best thing United fans can do is make their voices heard. If this rumor gains traction, if it looks like United are seriously pursuing this, fans should express their opposition. They should make it clear that this is not acceptable, that they expect better from their club. Social media campaigns, supporter groups speaking out, making it clear that desperation disguised as nostalgia is not what Manchester United should be about. This is how fans can influence their club's decision-making. Final thoughts. Learn from mistakes. Do not repeat them. The potential interest in re-signing Scott McTominay represents everything that has been wrong with Manchester United in recent years. Short-term thinking, poor planning, constantly changing direction, making decisions and then immediately regretting them. McTominay is a good player who has thrived at Napoli under Antonio Conte. But United made their decision. They sold him. They decided he was not good enough for where they wanted to go. They took the £25 million and moved on. Now, just over a year later, potentially wanting him back is an embarrassment. It shows United do not know what they are doing. It shows they have not improved their squad despite all the money spent. It shows they are still making reactive decisions based on desperation rather than strategic decisions based on a clear vision. The right thing to do is move forward. Find the next generation of midfielders. Sign players like Alex Scott or Adam Wharton who are young, talented, and available at reasonable prices. Build for the future rather than trying to reverse mistakes from the past. If United try to bring back McTominay, they deserve all the criticism they will receive. This is not smart business. This is not proper planning. This is desperation. And Manchester United should be better than that. Thank you for demanding better with us. Thank you for reading this honest assessment at Unite United News, where we are not afraid to call out terrible ideas even when they involve popular players. Scott McTominay did well at United. Many fans still have affection for him. But that does not mean bringing him back makes any sense whatsoever. This is what separates us from other outlets. We do not just report every rumor and treat it as equally credible. We analyze whether potential transfers actually make sense. We explain why some ideas are good and others are terrible. We demand better from Manchester United instead of accepting mediocrity. Stay with us as this story develops or hopefully dies. We will keep you informed about United's actual midfield targets and whether this McTominay rumor has any substance. We will continue to provide the honest analysis you have come to expect from Unite United News. Transfer windows bring all kinds of rumors. Some make sense. Others are absurd. Our job is to help you understand the difference. That is what we do every single day. That is why you should trust us as your source for Manchester United news. Until next time, keep demanding better from your football club. Keep expecting proper planning instead of desperate reactions. And remember that at Unite United News, we always tell you the truth even when that truth is uncomfortable. Glory, glory, Man United. And please, for the love of football, do not try to buy back a player you sold just a year ago because you realized you made a mistake. Learn from errors. Do not compound them.